Hey guys, it's Penguin here, and welcome back to another goal making video. Today we're going to be talking about 5 common mistakes that people do, especially when they're starting out with gold making, and how to avoid these mistakes so you can make sure you're making as much gold as possible. Now, of course, I am targeting beginners or people that do not have a lot of experience, but honestly, anybody can make these mistakes. I've made these mistakes, so definitely just check this out and maybe you can learn something too. But before I get started, I'm just going to say these are my personal opinions to help you guys out. Of course, not everybody will agree and not everybody will disagree with what I have to say, but feel free to leave your comments down below. Let me know if you kind of agree, disagree, or what's your standpoint on what I'm saying. But without further ado, we are going to get right into it. So the first topic that we're going to be talking about is making sure you know how TSM calculates. Now, I am talking about specifically crafting cost of items, and it's very important to realize what TSM is doing to make sure you're not accidentally making negative profit. So what I'm talking about is, for example, if I hover over, let's say, this potion right here, as you can see right now, it says my crafting cost is 173 gold, and I can make about a 16 gold profit. But the thing is that this crafting cost might not be true due to the price of herbs. Now, the reason I say this is because if we take a look inside of the main TSM settings, as you can see, if we go under crafting, there is a default crafting method right here. So as you can see right here, material cost method. This is basically what TSM used to make sure that your crafts and everything is calculated correctly. Now, a big thing that you'll notice if you take a look at this is that DB min buyout is not added to this list. What this means, it is not taking account the current price, but it's taking account the average price, aka DB market. So taking a look at this, you have to be wary of what exactly is going on and priced during these potions. So if we quickly just want to open up the crafting menu, this is not a alchemist, so I'm gonna have to look up that potion myself. Let me add one to queue. There we go. So to create this potion, I need 3 Rising Glory and 3 Marrow Root. So if we take a look onto the auction house, Marrow Root is going for 27 gold, while Rising Glory is going for 23 gold. So taking a look at this, right now, the reason that this potion is being priced at that 173 mark is because TSM is using that market value, because that's the cheapest out of that list, and that is what this is using for this crafting cost. So right now, this is actually a positive example, because taking a look at this, as you can see right now, the current price is 2 gold cheaper than the average for Marrow Root, and then the Rising Glory is 5 gold, or basically 4 gold cheaper than the average. So if this is 2 gold cheaper, that means I'm actually spending 6 less gold to craft this, because you need 3 of them. And then for Rising Glory, since this is 4 gold, in total, that's 12 gold cheaper. So actually, instead of this being 173, you should take away 18 gold from that, and that is currently the true crafting price. Now, the reason why I talk about this is that this is not TSM's fault. TSM is programmed like this, and there's a reason for that, because, minimum buyouts can have huge outliers. For example, if the average market value for enchanted heavy callus is in the 700s, all of a sudden it's using 1,000, that can skew a ton of things. So because of that, it makes sure that it uses a constant average, which is good. But my point in this topic is that you should be using either just making sure you're double checking or using some type of external spreadsheet to double check yourself. So for example, in this method, both of these are cheaper than the average. Right here, 2 and 4 less. So I'm good. It says I'm making 16 gold profit. My actual profit will actually be more because I'm buying these cheaper. However, if we're getting into, let's say, for an example, let's say we're trying to buy Widow Bloom for potions. Now this example isn't that big of a deal because it's only a 1 gold increase. As you can see right now we buy it for 34 gold. Market value is only 33. So technically we're spending 1 more gold for every Widow Bloom we need. So if a potion says that there's 10 gold profit, but you need 5 Widow Bloom, you're really only making 5 gold profit because there's an extra 5 gold cost. So the reason I say this is because once profit margins become really small and you don't realize that you're actually buying it for more expensive than it's using, you can cause yourself to accidentally craft at a loss instead of a positive. So in that case scenario, if you have really slim margins, I would suggest using an external spreadsheet. I have one myself that everybody can use. It's inside of my Discord. But of course, you can just do it manually by hand or use anybody else's or your own spreadsheet as well. But just making sure you realize how TSM calculates is a very important thing. And we're going to be moving on to the next one. Now, the next one that we have is more of just kind of a concept, and this is getting involved in looking at each other's mailboxes and sales. So getting involved, I mean, if you watch guides, for example, if you're watching this video and you're a long-term viewer of mine, if you haven't already, like joining the Discord, joining the community, getting involved if you're catching a live stream every once in a while, with all the other gold makers out there, catching their live streams, joining their Discords, and just kind of, observing what everybody else is doing, you can learn a lot of useful knowledge. Just for example, somebody a part of my community, which I've talked about this in my previous video, but they pointed out the speed gem Sage Agate, the cut version of that, was helping them in their raids and they were selling them like hotcakes. So I tried it myself. They were selling. I made a lot of profit off of that. So I decided to share it with you guys. So personally, I would have never, even thought about that if people did not join the community, talk about what they were selling, share pictures of their mailbox, and all of that. Now, I will say a lot of people, especially beginnings, do not want to, look at mailbox. A very common thing, if you're not in Discords, there's normally like a mailbox channel, so people can just share screenshots of what they're selling. And a lot of people tend to avoid this because, you're just going to see that bottom number total gold, and it's going to make you, sad if you don't have that much. But you have to realize that you have to take that number with a grain of salt. If there's 5 million in that mailbox, especially with legendaries, that might only be 500k profit. We don't know. But the idea about this is scanning mailboxes and seeing what people are selling. Saying like, oh, this person sold a enchant that I've never even heard about, but they sold it for 2,000 gold. I should look into that. Or, wow, they're selling this transmog piece for 50,000. Where in the world can I get that, or how do I craft that? Or, it looks like they're selling a lot of novice gear. I haven't sold that in a while. Let me see if, it's back in profit on my server. Just looking at people's mailbox, sharing your own mailbox, kind of talking about what you're selling can help you get many ideas which you might be completely overlooking or never even heard about. There's so many different things we can be selling. Not everybody makes YouTube videos. Not everybody does content. So just random people in the community can have some amazing advice, and you really don't know about it unless you get involved. So my second point is just kind of looking around the community, helping each other out, and we're moving on to the third one. Now the third one is something that's a little bit harder to do because it does depend on the situation, but this is being patient with sales. What I mean by this is a lot of people, let's say, for example, I go and craft 100 potions because right now I can make 16 gold profit. I post it up, I'm left with 59, so I only sold about half my stock, but then all of a sudden the crafting cost and the profit is in negative. So, I was selling this at 190, but I woke up the next morning with my stuff trying to repost it, but all of a sudden they're posted at 160. Now, I've seen a lot of beginners, they're like, dang it, I messed up. I need to just quickly sell at a loss to, regain as much as I can. But you have to be patient and you have to wait for the market to recover. A great example of this right now is these current spectral flasks of power. The reason I say this is because I crafted these about 2 days ago. I crafted about 300, I believe, and they were selling at about 580 gold a piece. So the crafting cost was about the 480 range. So it was about, like a 90, 80 gold profit, and I was able to sell a lot of them. But today, these were, expired. I logged on, and now they're currently set at 424 gold. So, somebody might see this, see how this tanked, and, panic and be like, okay, I just gotta sell this off before it crashes more. I need to make my profit back. Let's go, let's go, let's go. But you have to realize that this should recover, and you have to be patient. Until you sell that item off, you have not lost or gained any gold. You're just sitting at like a standpoint because you still have the value of the item sitting in your inventory. So, for example, if you hover over, right now the min buyout is 424, but my market value is still above 500. So, more than likely within the next few days, especially tomorrow or today if you're watching this video, because it is Tuesday, which is my reset day, this is probably going to be back in the 500s, and then I can sell it then and make my profit. So being patient, not always trying to, sell everything off whenever you craft it, make sure you are letting the markets recover is perfect. Also, another side point is just watching trends, At some point, you're going to realize, okay, potions are most expensive on Tuesday, and they're the least expensive on Friday. So maybe I should hold off on Friday, craft them. Maybe I should craft them on Friday, try not to sell any, and hold them till Tuesday. Finding these little trends to do is going to help you out a lot. But be patient with sales. If something's in the negative, especially like this, like if it's below market value by a ton, hold off. It will be okay. It will more than likely recover. And at some point, if it doesn't, okay, you can break even or try to break even, but there's no reason to panic sell, especially if you just crafted the item. All right, so moving on, the fourth topic that we have is diversifying and having multiple professions. So what I mean by this is a lot of gold makers, are strictly just gatherers, or they only have 1 to 2 characters, and that is completely okay. Like, we all started, with 1 toon. We all started with only 1 level 60. Some of us, I only have 2 level 60s when there's people out there with 15 plus, but at some point, you do want to make sure that you have all of the professions available to you. The reason for that is, right now, engineering is completely useless. Okay, well, I should back up. It's not completely useless, but it's definitely probably the worst on the profession list right now. So, if you only had 1 main character that had alchemy and engineering, you would be in a pretty rough spot because the only thing you can really do is make a ton of potions. And yes, you can unlearn engineering, but if you're somebody who had a lot of the old world patterns, you can't recover that, and that's a lot of, time wasted. So being able to have all of the professions, available to you will help you when some are not performing as well as others. Also, on the topic of that is getting into as many markets as you can. So yes, alchemy might be killing it right now. Alchemy might be making, 80% of your gold just alone, but keep up with your enchants, keep up with cooking, keep up with your legendaries, and that is still going to bring income as well. So whenever potions do start slowing down, you have plenty other sources of income in order to, not take a loss at that hit of the market. So this can be strictly, getting every single profession. This can be looking into the old world versions of the profession. This can be looking into, if you only used to sell, let's say, Spectral Flask of Power, then trying to get into the oils, trying to get into the, Potions of Phantom Fire and the Spectrals, just, diversifying within the profession. It can be so many things. You can also go into the more exotic stuff like pets and transmog, which is not strictly crafting, but diversifying is the best way to go. The more sources you have, the more stable your gold income is going to be. And of course, the more professions you have, the more options you're going to have as well. And lastly, out of this long list, we have the final point, which is just take it slow. The reason I say this is because I kind of talked about this before, but if you are a part of communities, if you do watch videos, if you do watch live streams, you know, you're going to see people with tens of millions of gold. You're going to see people with, you know, gold cap mailboxes. You're going to see all of this stuff, but you have to realize that everybody plays the game differently. You know, you might start gold making the same time as somebody else, and within a month they're at gold cap and you're still at 1 million gold, but you don't know how much time they play the game every single day. You don't know if they only do gold making while, you know, you are raiding and you're doing mythic pluses. You just don't know how much time they're allocating. You know, if you're a student or you have a full-time job, you might only be able to play 2 hours a day, while, you know, somebody might only have a part-time job and is playing 8 hours a day. So yes, you guys started at the same time, but that other person just had a lot more free time, so they had a lot more experience, and they're, you know, gaining gold faster. It really doesn't matter at the end of the day. We all enjoy different things. Yes, you guys both might have 5 hours to play, but for 2 of those hours, you are doing Mythic Plus, and the other guy is strictly doing gold making. So, you know, time allocations, playing other games, family life, school life, work life, we all have different things, which means that our gold making journey is going to be a lot slower than others. I mean, I could be a perfect example of this. I know so many people who have gone from 0 to gold cap within a few months, even a month, let's say, and it took me, you know, from Legion all the way to, you know, BFA in order to make anywhere close to 5 million gold. And once I did it, I bought the Bruto. And it took me until the release of Shadowlands to even make gold cap. So I was definitely one of the slow ones. There is nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, it's how it happened. And, you know, I'm very thankful for that journey. So do not be too hard on yourself. Do not compare yourself to others as much as you can. I know that's super hard to do. Easier said than done. But hopefully this can just help you out a little bit. But that was a lot of talking. I apologize about that, but I hope you guys can at least learn a little bit from this. Hopefully you guys kind of like this more concept talking videos. I just kind of want to get my points out there. I talk a lot about this, you know, when I'm live streaming, when people ask questions, but I haven't done a lot of this concept talking inside of a video. So let me know if you kind of like this, and yeah. If you guys haven't already, be sure to join the Discord down below, leave a like, comment, even subscribe if you enjoyed and want to see more, and of course, have a good day.